friends in the building here, and I can tell you that Anita was had an amazing character. She's very powerful, and always looked tremendously elegant, and always, making a statement, a fashion statement. So one day I came back, and there was an ambulance in front of the building, and I wondered what was going on, and I said, "What's happening?" I said, "It's Anita, it's Anita." So I rushed upstairs here, and Anita was sitting in the kitchen there, in the little room here before the kitchen, in a chair, and there were EMS people here. And I said, "What's going on?" And the EMS people said, "We're the second group called here, and Anita cannot breathe. Anita's having trouble. She's got the flu." And Anita was sitting there, and she looked, maybe the color of, maybe the sort of the yellow of the painting. She did not look good. And I said, "Anita, what's going on?" And she was just sitting there, and I said, "These people are trying to help you. I think, maybe this was about 15 years ago. So she must have been, how old?
Baby.
80, okay. So she was saying, "No, I don't want to go to the hospital." She just said, "No, I'm not going." And I said, "Anita, this is," and they said, the men were saying, "This is our second group. We have to legally be, accept that she's not going to go to the hospital. We must record her or me saying she's not going to the hospital." I said, "Wait, I think she should go." And they're like, "No, we have to record her." So they opened up a recording and put Anita on the recording, and they said, "Excuse me, Anita Kahn, are you saying that you will not come with us to the hospital?" And they just said, "This is right, this is correct." They said, "Is that correct?" And they said, "Yes." And they looked at me like, "Okay." And they were here like, "Okay," and they started packing up all of their stuff, and I said, "No problem, because my son at that night was staying with his dad, so I said, they said, "Then you have to stay here with her." And I said, "Okay, no problem." And I didn't think it would be, an issue. Once they left, I saw Anita was really sick, that she had pneumonia or something, clearly. She didn't just have, a flu, which would be bad enough at 80, but that she was really sick. And once they left, then I tried to get Anita to stand up. I said, "Okay, do you want to lie down?" And she really could barely stand up. So here it was, and it was just starting to get dark outside. It was maybe, 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I knew it was a problem. So I right away called another friend of mine downstairs, Lisa, and we started going through Anita's Rolodex to find friends that we knew, who could come and help Anita, or maybe take her to the hospital, or what to do. So Anita, in the meantime, went down and was lying down, and I was like, "Oh my God, what do I do?" So we finally called. We thought of Alex, who was here today. He spoke at the memorial. And we thought of Alex, who'd been very close with Arthur in dentistry and had studied under him and loved him very much. So we called Alex, and I said, "Do you think he's going to come?" And I spoke to this man who I'd never met, and I explained, "Anita's really sick. Can you come over? By now, it's 11:30 at night." And I'm speaking to some Russian who sounds drunk. And I'm thinking, like, this is a problem. I'm sitting here. In the meantime, my friend who was here went back downstairs, so it's me with Anita. And she, in the meantime, is in the other room, so I'm running to the other room to make sure she's okay, and running back to go on the phone. And so I said, "Listen, you've got to promise me, you've got to come over. Will you be over in the next?" "Oh, I'll be over in the next 45 minutes. Oh my God. So finally, I'm waiting in the hallway, like not, hoping he's going to show up. There's a knock on the door. I run to the door, and I let Alex Koronsky in. This very handsome, dashing-looking, Russian who rushes in. "Where's Anita?" And Anita, in the meantime, had said no to all these EMS people. She said, "No, we're answering the question." He goes in, you hear some low murmuring, and then he comes out, "She won't come, she won't go." And I said, "Well, we have to do something." So I went back in, and I talked to her, and I said, "What's the biggest worry if you have pneumonia? What's the concern?" Because I'm not a doctor. They said, "It's the saturation of oxygen in your blood. That's the concern." So I looked at him, and I said, "Look, it sounds like she can't breathe. How can you test that? Is there any way you can test that?" He said, "I have a meter. I'll be back." And he just leaves. So now I'm thinking, okay, great, this guy, God. In the meantime, I'm just in this house, like the clock's ticking, I'm rushing in. Anita she doesn't sound like she's getting worse, but it doesn't sound better. So finally, 45 minutes later, the Russian comes back, like the flowing hair, and he smells like he's drinking vodka. Anyway, so he comes in, he goes into the room, he puts the little meter on her finger and reads it, and I don't know what is it supposed to be time, but it's supposed to be like 100, and it was like, I don't know, 17. No, it was really bad, really low, and it was in like the beyond danger. So he goes, "It's a big problem. She must go now. She must go now." And I said, okay, well, so, you know, so I was like, Anita, we really have to go now. And she was like, I'm sorry, darling. No, like that, just no, I need to rest. I need to, so I knew it was a problem. Alex goes in, sweet talks her, gets her up. I go back in, I say, okay, Anita, we're going out. And just as we're about to leave, Anita can barely walk. She goes, oh, just a minute, just a minute. She goes back into the bathroom and fixes her hair. And she fixes her hair and then puts a scarf on. She goes, and I said, you could help me? And so I helped her tie it. And I said, Anita, I know you're going to be fine. She goes, really? Do you really think so? I said, yes. And she said, how do you know? Because you're fixing your hair. And so, and anyway, we went downstairs, and Alex had a very, like a Volkswagen, a little back Volkswagen that was barely running. But we got Anita into the car, and we drove her to the emergency room. And, she lived, another 20, 30, 40 years, and she was absolutely fine. But it was really a big moment for Anita, because Anita really had a strong will, and she really knew what she wanted. And in that case, what I found so interesting about Anita is she actually could change her mind. She actually would listen and think about it. And in this case, Alex, big, Russian, sweet-talking her, got her up and got her out. But she listened to reason, and she did change her mind. And Anita was really a wonderful, just a wonderful friend, and loved her family very much. But when you all weren't here, because Anita was here, and obviously you were, off working and doing things, she spoke very, very lovingly of all of you, of you, Robbie, very, very much, and of you, Karen, very much, and of Levin, and of Maddie. And she really cared for you all very much. And Lionel, I want to say also that I remember when she first met Lionel, and I was recently divorced, so here we were, two single babes, and she was telling me about Lionel and how wonderful you are, Lionel, and how lovely your family is, and she was very, very taken with you, and we all were very, very buoyed when you and Anita got together, and it was just a lovely, lovely relationship. It seemed to us, I don't know, but I just want to say Anita really was very, very loving about you, and I just really love knowing you also, and I want to just say also hello to you. So anyway, so that's all. That was my story.
She was the most unusual person.
Yeah, very unusual. She really was spicy.
As they say, sui generis. She was unto herself.
Yeah, she was a very spicy character, and often would say to me, come with me to this opening. She'd be very dressed up at the last second, and I went a couple of times with her to some art exhibits, which were amazing. She had such a vast knowledge of art and artists, and really loved them. And as we can see, this is a testament to how much she loved art. And so anyway, that's
big inspiration to all of us.
Yeah, big inspiration for us too. And she was very, very loving. She loved, she didn't have that much music in her life at least when I met her. She wasn't going regularly to concerts, but I was playing and I was teaching my little 3-year-old son at that time cello, and Greg's daughter violin, and 2 daughters piano, and she was very moved by that and came down regularly, and then started going to Greg's concerts, and she was just lovely.
And the opera.